To the US now, where President Donald Trump has given a speech to a joint session of Congress in Washington, D.C. In a nearly two-hour address, Trump claimed his trade policies and tariffs would boost the domestic, agriculture and car industry. He vowed to reduce bureaucracy, thanking Elon Musk for cracking down on federal spending. On foreign policy, Trump said Ukraine was willing to enter peace talks. He also repeated his plan for the US to take control of Greenland and the Panama Canal. Now, to give you a sense of the tone of the evening, here's how Trump opened his speech with a big claim about his achievements so far.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
Now let's bring in Laura von Daniels. She works for the German Institute for International Security Affairs and heads their research unit on the Americas. Laura, a lot of frenetic cheering there for Trump. How do you explain this support for a president that's only been in power for 6 weeks now?
Well, I think what we've seen is support really from his people. We've also seen protests from a single member of the House who's been speaking up against plans to cut Medicare, who has been escorted outside of the room. And we also heard a very thoughtful and important speech, I think, by the opposition leader, so to speak, in the Senate, Alyssa Slotkin, who was giving her perspective on Trump's speech. And the country definitely continues to be divided. So you have this polarity, and Trump really played to his own audience, I would say.
Now, we also saw some protests there from the Democrats. How much impact does this have?
I think the Democratic Party is now, of course, in a very difficult position. They need to agree on a new program to win voters. They also need to agree on new leadership. And I think what we've seen here by Alyssa Slotkin certainly puts her into a position of becoming one of those future leaders. But definitely this party, the Democratic Party, is now waiting for their moment to come. I think some of the strategists fear that it's the right way to see Trump's policies fail, so to speak, to have the population in the US understand the dire consequences of many of the steps he's been taking already and that he continues to take, and then go out prior to the midterm elections to really come out with a new Democratic Party program platform.
Let's talk about the Trump's own party, the Republicans. Is there any kind of pushback to expect from them?
It doesn't appear so at this point. I think after all we've seen and heard, going back to last Friday, the scene with Zelensky in the Oval Office, and the comments that we heard from congressional leaders afterwards, also from the Secretary of State Rubio, who were supporting Trump's position, who were very critical of Zelensky rather than criticizing sort of the way that he has been treated by the US president. I think that these are all indications that there is very little critique or internal party opposition to Trump. And I think people are not confident enough at this point to really go out and make counter arguments against what Trump is proposing and doing and suggesting to do.
Now, he also mentioned the new tariffs again and defended his economic policy. Let's have a quick listen.
Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh.
Laura, Trump is very confident now, but in the long run, his popularity will likely be measured by the cost of living and inflation in the US. How long do you think Americans will accept the idea that increasing tariffs will make their everyday lives better?
Well, I think the European Commission, answering to Trump's threat of imposing tariffs on the EU and other trade partners of the US, has been very clear that from an economic point of view, these tariffs that he's suggesting and is about to implement will lead to price increases in the US. Consumer prices are very likely to increase, and then people will feel the difference. And you hear a little bit of noise already among groups like the agricultural sector in the US or other sectors, industrial sectors, that are worried about retaliatory measures. But apparently it's not enough opposition yet to keep Trump from what he's planned to do and is preparing to do. We are very likely to see tariffs, various kinds of tariffs starting mid-March and then early April. And he's made that a point in his SOTO address in the Congress yesterday.
The political analyst Laura van Daniërs there. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.